Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Joanna here. I hope you're having a fantastic day, whatever day of the week it is that you are watching this on. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're enjoying the content so far. I know that I haven't really provided much in the England stuff, so welcome to our first video of like sights and seas. I don't really know. So there's like 3 different locations technically in this video. The first one I'm going to show you is the St. Mary's C of E Church. Now this one I actually got to see my first morning after my first night in England. I stayed with my cousin in Milton Keynes, and he was like, there's a little church down the road if you'd like to go see it. I was like, yes please. So we both had our cameras and we walked off down the road, and there's little bits where he was trying to tell me about things about the cemetery or the history of the church, and the wind was so bad that you cannot hear most of anything that he's saying. You'll see in the footage that there's like a tower. Now, he was telling me that this is called the Devil's Tower, and nobody really knew why. The tower was actually the first part of the church that was built, and where was it? 1190 is when the tower was built, and then 1220 was when the rest of the church was added on. So it was just the tower for years, and they called it the Devil's Tower. Now, I went on to Google, and I hate to say that my cousin was wrong in something he taught me because I thought it was really cool. But upon my research, because I was trying to find out the Devil's Tower, any kind of history on it, and I came across this thing called the Devil's Door. So there's a door that, of course, I don't have footage of, and it would be like, I think it's like a 2-hour train ride away. So there's a door that's actually attached to the tower, and it's all sealed over now by brick and stuff, and you can see pictures of it on Google. I didn't want to like steal anybody's photo, and I could tell that they were a newer photo, so I wasn't going to steal that to put in my video. But essentially this door is on the north side of the church. So they would actually call any doors that were a disused door on the north side of the building, they would call those devil's doors because of the superstition that the evil one tried to exert his influence from this direction. So that is why it's called the Devil's Door, and I think it's because it was on the tower that through the years in like smaller towns and stuff, you're going to kind of end up getting these different stories and rumors about what things were. But yeah, that's really cool. And then there's the old rectory that he showed me as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that footage. The second place I'm showing you in the video is the Coventry Cathedral. Now, when I was picking places to live and trying to look at places, I would click like those little blue emoticon, like little blue things on Google Maps just to see what was nearby, see what was worth taking pictures of, and I thought this place looked really cool. And what Coventry went through in the war is really like a whole other thing. Yeah, so for me, I look at it and I look at the architecture and I'm like, this is so beautiful, and it's so amazing that it's protected and still there. It actually turns out the Coventry Cathedral, the very next day, the demolition crews were actually coming and trying to knock down the tower, and people had to like protect it and prevent the demolition crews from knocking it over because they were like, no, this has been standing for too long, you're not doing it. It was also the only cathedral to have been bombed in World War II. Coventry Cathedral is what we know it to be, but its original name is the Cathedral Church of St. Michael. Now, the original cathedral, or just what it was destroyed on November 14th, 1940 by an air raid. That air raid code was named Moonlight Sonata. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything, obviously. I like to share history with you guys, and I like to learn things along the way, but reading everything I was reading to share with you guys on this, it was actually hard for me. it was just one of those things that, like, as for who I am and my high levels of being an empath and stuff, and like, it's actually hard for me to read that stuff. And though I read every little bit of it and I took every little bit in, none of that's going to leave my mind for a really long time. And I get a little too connected with feelings of what people may have gone through. So again, I'm not sharing every single detail with you guys, but I am going to give you what I feel like deserves. I think it all deserves to be shared, but anyways, let's just get into it, shall we? So the Air Raid Moonlight Sonata lasted nearly 11 hours and used over 500 bombers. There was actually 3 different types of bombs and explosives that they were using. One was like a test one that was new that the Germans were using or something. And I didn't know how to pronounce that word, but I didn't really want to like include too much on that details anyways. They say that the aim of the raid was to knock out Coventry entirely as a major production center, essentially. With all everything that was happening that day. 15 acres of factory buildings became what's called a raging inferno from the massive amounts of bombs and this new test item bomb that was being dropped on them. 15 acres of just... They say that you could feel the heat 6,000 feet above the fires. There's a little saying that kind of rhymes about, what was it? 14 November was a brilliant moonlit night, so bright that the traffic could move around on the road without light. So the counted death toll for November 14th was 554. But the number goes beyond that because there was numerous people not even accounted for after that night. There's 43,000 homes destroyed in this air raid. And King George IV is said to have actually come to the cathedral, the ruins, and just to have cried over what happened. Now, here's a part that my mom told me that I didn't read anywhere. So apparently they had just figured out how to actually read the German code, or they had cracked the code or something. They got into the system and they knew that Coventry was about to be bombed. And because it was actually not a huge city back then, now this is just apparently they just decided to look at Coventry as collateral damage and let it happen because it wasn't an important enough city to deem worthy of saving, because they were not ready for the Germans to know that they had cracked the code, because they needed it to find out more important things. So Mom said that they say that is actually the reason King George came and wept at the cathedral, was because he knew what he had done, essentially what they had done, that he knew that they let this happen. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad. So the ruins were actually left as a testament to the futility of the war and as a statement to peace and reconciliation, which you will see a little bit on reconciliation in the video and stuff. So again, I hope you enjoyed that footage as well. The last bit of footage I have for you guys is more like a happy little ending bit to my video. It's filmed at the Holy Trinity Church, which is actually right down the road from the cathedral. But my focus wasn't so much on the church, it was actually on these squirrels and the pigeons. I got very distracted by those pigeons and I was having a great time with it. So that's just like my like little bonus video footage for the end of the day. And then I will post some pictures at the end, but all of these pictures are going up on my Instagram and on my Patreon as well, which I am making viewable for free, just so you guys know, because I kind of made the decision that I just wanted to share my photography with you guys. Now, before we jump into the footage, why don't you give that little like button a click for me? Every like really helps. I really appreciate the support. Every little bit helps me towards my next goals. And yeah, if you feel like it, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Maybe turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. All right, enjoy.
It's a nice church inside. It's a shame it's closed down. Christmas Eve.
Oh!
At 6 o'clock again, Mass. This sort of stuff.
Wow. It's a nice home.
This is the old rectory. It's a bit tumbled down inside.
So what is a rectory? Like what?
It's where the vicar would have lived back in the day when being a vicar had a lot of prestige.
Oh.
You know, typically what would happen would be that the eldest son would be the heir, the next eldest son would go to the army, the next eldest son would become a vicar.
Oh.
And if they were any left after that, they had to, you know,
Figure it out for themselves.
more or less.
Like, sorry, we don't have a job for
There
you.
wasn't going to be much left. Well, they'd go to, you could be an academic or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mads and her husband lived here.
Hey guys, so I'm just gonna stop this for a second because from where I stand on the ground looking up at this sign, I cannot read it for the life of me. So I relied on zooming in on the video and hoping that that would help me be able to read it, but for the life of me, I cannot make out the first like couple sentences of it. So I tried to find the plaque online, and really I just want to get this video done, so I'm going to do my best to read it for you from what I can see. Some of it like you can read yourself, but just to make it easier, I think I'm just gonna like read it out for you guys. So the guild chapels, it says these chapels something side aisles. They were commemorated in the 14th and 15th centuries for the use of the mercantile guilds to the city. They were primarily chantries, which were endowed chapels in which masses were sung for the souls of deceased members. But for the various guilds also used them as meeting places for the settlements of guild affairs, as well as for the common worship of the festivals of their patronal saints. The chapels, as a rule, had private entrances and were not open to the public. Each guild contributed to the upkeep of its chapel, to ornaments and vestments, and to the maintenance of chantry priests. In 1522, besides the vicar and 18 priests, there were 6 chantry priests at St. Michael's. At the end of the 15th century, there appeared to have been 10 altars beside the high altars, each with its chapel and chantry. In 1548, religious guilds, any chantries attached to guilds, and all personal chantries and orbits came to an end. And their possessions passed 4 years later in the hands of mayor, bailiffs, and community of the city. So, I just wanted to stop that and show you guys what the plaque actually said. Back to the video. Thank you guys for watching that video. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I love you all. Bye.